we're busy. I'm busy, you're busy. Who has time to even watch a video? But I know there is one problem a lot of us have year after year, and that is we get really close to the holidays and we think, wait a minute, I don't have a gift for so-and-so. Or we've been searching and searching. It's not that we forgot, we just haven't been able to find that perfect something. Well, first of all, remember, there's no perfect. It's all about the thought that counts. And if someone knows you've been thinking about them and you've really tried to do something that they can use or that they will appreciate, they're going to be very happy with it. Doesn't matter if it's perfect, how much it costs, or anything like that. So in light of all of that, I wanted to share with you some last minute, super inexpensive, if not free, ideas that you can use to gift to people you love, those in your family, your friends, close ones that you want to show your appreciation and love for at this time of year or any time of year, birthdays, Mother's Day, whatever. Now, obviously, if you're a gardener, one of the things you can gift that doesn't cost you anything is stuff that you've grown. So you might give those things in canned form, like salsa and apple butter and jams, all of which, if you're my family or friends, don't listen, but may just feature pretty highly in this year's gift giving on my end. How about dehydrating things? Now, if you've got perennial things out in your yard or garden that perhaps could make a lovely tea, or maybe potpourri, a sachet for their clothes drawer, there's plenty of time to dehydrate things still. So I've been dehydrating bay leaves to use in stews, and mint and lavender and lemon verbena and lemon balm for teas. And oh, of course, red roselle hibiscus. But if you haven't grown some of those things, you might be amazed at some of the great plants and tree leaves that can make medicinal or just delicious teas. So if you've got some plants, some trees in your yard, look them up, Google them and see. You might just be surprised. I know when I moved here and inherited my 100-year-old 100 tree olive orchard, I looked into all sorts of things about olives. And one of the things I found is that olive leaves make a absolutely wonderful medicinal tea. And I never would have known that if I hadn't researched it. So look around at what you've got. Do you have evergreens? Do you have fruit trees of any kind? Well, those are probably lost their leaves at this point, but how about herbs? Oregano tends to go all year round, and that makes a great medicinal tea. So just be creative in that regard. And of course, you can make jams out of frozen fruit. So if you froze any of the fruit you grew, or if you found a good sale and you froze some of the fruit you bought, or just frozen fruit from the supermarket, it all can be turned into amazing jams. Now, at this time of year, a lot of us are growing brassicas of some sort. If you grow kale, that is a fantastic thing that you can dehydrate, whether in your dehydrator, like my Nesco that I love so much, or in your oven. They make fabulous chips. You can put all kinds of spices on them, put them in a mason jar, tie a twine around it as a bow, and that makes a really nice gift. Now, one of the things I have been very busy with this week and last week and the week before is I've been on sort of a crochet kick. Now, I'm not an expert crocheter by any means, but I have crocheted on and off through the years, phases of my life. And at this point, I know a lot of stitches and I'm, decent enough in my tension and stuff that I could actually do some advanced projects if I had the time. Last minute though, you can crochet so much. And there are YouTube tutorials from, thousands of great crocheters that you can follow along with if you're not confident to follow a written pattern. And I actually love doing that. I love finding new patterns to follow along with someone who's crocheting and showing me the ins and outs of it. Let me show you one of the things I found recently. Look at this. Isn't this cute? Obviously it's a coffee cup, and I made a few of these. You can make them in different colors. Really easy to make. In fact, you don't need to know anything advanced at all to make it. You can actually make all kinds of last minute crochet items really fast. These Christmas tree ornaments were very quick, very easy, and so cute to make. And how about a little doily for a vase to sit on? I made a bunch of these with different colors, and so easy and really useful too. I know I like setting my vase on a doily to soak up any random bits of water, and it just looks pretty. Now I've made all sorts of coasters because that is easy, and I'll put a picture of some of them up here. But one of the great last minute things you can do is make bookmarks, especially if you make the kind with the little skinny chain for the part that goes in the book, and then just add little fun things at the top and bottom. And I like those better anyway than the other kinds of bookmarks, because as an avid reader, I know, and you probably know, it's not really good to have anything thick inside your book when you close it because it can damage the binding. But a thin little chain to hold your place is just perfect. So that is, again, a super fast last minute thing you can crochet and give as a gift. Some of the things I cherish the most from my grandmother, who died a few years ago, were crochet arm covers for my chairs and couches. And these are super easy to make. They're just squares. So you can make it as a granny square, real large, or you can just do a simple row by row pattern like single stitch or shell stitch or any number of stitches. She made granny squares. And those, can go on the arms of your furniture to save the arms or to hide the damaged arms from, pets and such or spills. And you can actually take those armchair covers and use them as doll blankets too. Or that's another idea. For a child in your life, you could crochet little doll blankets. I crocheted a couple of doll capes this week. I've crocheted keychain holders. I've crocheted ear pod covers. And again, there are tutorials for all of these things, easily found and easy to follow on YouTube. I will put some links to a couple of my favorite crochet YouTube channels in the description below, so you can check them out and see if perhaps you might want to crochet a last minute gift for someone in your life. Of course, as a gardener, you very well might have saved some seeds from your garden this year, and if you did, that makes a wonderful gift to give. And what about plant starts? I just took dozens of cuttings off of my geraniums, and they are so easy to start. They're already rooting. That would make a great last-minute gift. How about bulb plants and rhizome spread plants? Maybe you have some bearded irises like I do that I've spread everywhere. Dig up some of those, plop them in a pot, and there you go, a wonderful gift at the last minute. You could even divide up something like rhubarb and do the same thing. Now everybody talks about coupon books, and I think those are a wonderful last minute gift. As a gardener or as a baker, I could see both giving these kind of coupon books as gifts and receiving them. Giving them, I could give a dessert a month or cookies once a month if I have someone local in mind. If you know someone who is new to gardening, you could give them a couple of coupons for work days where you go out and help them in their garden, show them some tricks of the trade. Just give them some muscle power and, some tips from your experience. They would love that, I'm sure. I know I would. I could see getting a coupon book with, I will give you 1 hour of weed eating or tall pruning of the trees. That would be fabulous. One of my absolute favorite gifts to give is a recipe book. But I didn't do this for many years because I'm a perfectionist, and I thought, there's so many recipes I'd want to share, and that would take so much time to do. And then a few years ago, I came up with a solution I'm really happy with, and my kids are all ecstatic about, really. The solution is to just do it gradually. Get a binder, whether one with their favorite animal or flower on it, or one of the ones they sell in the store, sure, that says recipes all over it, but you can make a binder and personalize it in many ways. Now, I have a lot of kids, so what I do is write the recipe once and then copy it for all of them. And then 3-hole punch them. The first year, you can put them in the binder, but then the key is to do it gradually, so year after year, I just add more recipes. So this year's our 4th year, I believe, and I went a little overboard. I did 20 recipes, so they'll all be getting those to add to their binders. And these are recipes, of course, of mine that the kids grew up with and that they love, but also from my mom and my grandmother and other relatives they have. So yes, I'm in a different location and a different shirt. That's because I was taping yesterday afternoon outside when the wind just picked up. It got so bad it actually blew my camera right over. And well, by the time I got that fixed, I had an appointment I needed to get to. So I'm back again today, and guess what? It's even more last minute than it was before, but it's still totally doable. And I think I was just finishing up talking to you about recipe books and how easy they are to do. You just create the master recipes, copy them, and give them each year to your kids or whoever else you think might enjoy them. And then each year you just add more. And I'm up to about 55, 60 recipes now and intend to keep adding more as time goes by. I'm just about through all my, traditional family recipes, but because I'm always experimenting with making new jams and trying out new spices from herbs I've grown. And also I do a lot of gluten-free baking and cooking for one of my kids and myself. So there's always more stuff to add to make those recipe books really, really great. Now, I wanted to add something a little bit different in here. It's not completely free, but super inexpensive. If you have thrift stores near you, whether they're charity shops or bigger thrift stores, if you can go to them, say early in the day before it's crowded, tomorrow or the next day, well, you can get some really good bargains there. Over the years, I have picked up so many gorgeous teacups and some teapots too. And I just love enjoying my tea with these special one-of-a-kind little sets. This would go great if you actually had some dried leaves or dried herbs to give them to use for tea. But even on its own, it would make a wonderful gift. And I think I paid about $1.50 for these. Now, speaking of inexpensive stores that you can probably get to tomorrow or the next day and pick up some really good buys, I want to look at two things I just got at the dollar store yesterday. First of all, look at this tin. It has a real beautiful vintage feel to it, doesn't it? So with the tins, what I intend to do is put some homemade candy in it. My mom's fudge recipe is just so good. In fact, I'll put it in the description below, but I'm gonna put some of those in there and maybe some peppermint bark, maybe some of their favorite cookies. Another thing that would be good in a tin is some peanut brittle, and I made that a few years ago, and it is really easy to make. I was surprised by that. So if you've got somebody in your family that likes that, that's a great thing you can make on your own. Now, the other thing I found at the dollar store, for lack of a better term, I'll call them box bags because they're very, very sturdy, box-like, but they're bags. And you know what fits perfectly inside of these? 2 jars that I have canned, one of apple butter and one of salsa. And this just keeps them super secure in this box bag. The only thing that I need to do is secure this ribbon a little tighter on the inside to make sure that it doesn't break when carrying this. Another very quick and very easy thing you can do for a beautiful gift that most everyone will appreciate is what I like to call holiday simmer scents in a jar. And, well, I picked up this cute little jar at the dollar store, but you can use mason jars, or if you collect jars like I do, I just cleaned off the sticker from a molasses jar and it's really pretty. You can just reuse one of them. Now, what's in this? Well, it has dehydrated orange slices from my trees. It also has some cranberries, some cinnamon sticks, some evergreen needles, which I only have one evergreen tree on my whole property, and it's a young tree, but some of its lower branches were going to get pruned anyway, so I got some of those sprigs off of it. But even if you don't have an evergreen tree, they are everywhere. I'm sure one of your neighbors or friends has one. Or you might even just find hedges of, say, juniper growing on the side of the road. And you just need a few sprigs for this to give it that smell. And the other thing I added into it were a few spices. I used some whole cloves and some star anise. It smells wonderful now, and all you do is put it in a pot with a couple of cups of water and let it simmer on very low, and the house just smells gorgeously like the holidays. So this is a wonderful gift you can do very last minute. It took me maybe 3 minutes to put this together, and yet it looks great. And it's going to look even better when I tie some twine around it, make a little bow, just pretty it up slightly. I like the simple look, but it still can be pretty. One thing I like to use for bows in addition to twine is my scrap yarn. Because I'm always crocheting, I always end up with all these loose pieces of yarn. And one thing you can do with those is stuff little cushions and pillows with them. But another thing, you can use them for bows on gifts. So during this holiday season, I just want to thank all of you for joining me both today and as you watch my other videos. I really appreciate it, and I love getting to know you. I love it when we can interact in the comments, and I just encourage you to do that even more so I can feel and you can feel like we actually are friends, because that's how I think of you. I've mentioned a couple of times in this video how busy I am, and I'm pretty sure most of you are too, but I do make a point of sitting down and relaxing with some beautiful music and a cup of hot coffee or some tea and some of the cookies I'm baking. I don't save them all for when the family gets here. I enjoy some of them right now. My Russian tea cakes are my favorites probably, and they're so simple to make. I probably will put a few of those in my cookie tin gifts. Sometimes Christmas and other holidays can be a hard time of year for those of us who've lost people. I lost my mom 13 years ago now, but sometimes, especially at the holidays, it seems like just yesterday, and I miss her at these times. You know, one of the things that is nice though, and it makes me feel like she's sort of here, is by baking her candies and cookies and, you know, following her recipe cards with her handwriting on them for making the family stuffing, that kind of thing, and putting up a few pictures around the house that show her with me or with my kids at Christmas time, and it just sort of brings her in with us, and that's just a special way that helps me a little bit during Christmas time and during other special times of the year like Mother's Day, that kind of thing. For those of you who find the holiday season hard because of grief or some other reason, I wish you a very calm and positive time. I send you lots of warm wishes and hope that you're able to focus on the many great things that we do have in this life. And mostly, of course, that is the other people who are around us who love and support us. And I want to be one of those people for you. Obviously, I'm not living near you and we don't know each other personally, but always feel free to reach out and I would welcome your friendship. So I hope to see you again in the next video. That'll be after Christmas, but before the new year. I love that time of year. It's just a time to reinvigorate myself and dream big. And for gardeners, of course, we're really thinking big about what's going to be happening in the spring. But when I come back with you, I'll talk a little bit about all my goals for next year. Until then, enjoy the season, enjoy your family, and have fun with these last-minute gifts. Don't let the pressure of feeling like you have to have the perfect gift get to you. Just share your heart with others. Let them know you're thinking of them and they will be grateful and you will enjoy the season so much more. Happy holidays!